My wife said she wanted to adopt her ex-husband's child. She called it the right thing to do. I said no. She came back 3 weeks later, eyes red, asking again, quieter this time, more careful. That's the version I should have paid more attention to. Her ex-husband, David, had died 4 months earlier, a car accident, sudden, no warning. He had a daughter, Maya, 7 years old. No family close enough to take her, according to my wife. It wasn't that I lacked sympathy for the child. It was the way my wife asked. Not like someone proposing something difficult, like someone who had already decided and was looking for a signature. I told her I needed to understand more before agreeing to anything. I asked what David's relationship with Maya was, whose name was on the birth certificate, where she'd been living. My wife's answers were thin, rehearsed thin. So I started asking differently. I hired a family law attorney, not for the divorce I didn't know was coming, but to understand what adoption, in this case, would actually mean legally, what documents existed, what history was on file. What came back stopped me cold. There were no adoption records for Maya, no legal filing, no court order, no paper trail placing her with David through any formal process, which meant either the records were missing or there had never been an adoption to begin with. I ordered a DNA test. I told my wife the attorney needed it for the legal process. She agreed too quickly for someone with nothing to hide. The results came back 14 days later. Maya wasn't David's adopted daughter. She was my wife's biological child. I sat with that for a long time. 7 years. My wife had been pregnant, had given birth, had handed a baby to the man she'd been with before me, and had never said a word. Not when we met, not when we married, not across any of the 4 years we had been together. The story had never been about adoption. It had been about retrieval. Then the other woman showed up. I still don't know how she found me. She knocked on our door on a Tuesday evening, introduced herself as Pam, and told me she was Maya's biological mother. She wasn't. The DNA test had already closed that door. But Pam had something else. Messages between her and David, going back years, where my wife had asked him to help her quietly disappear the pregnancy. Pam had been David's closest confidant. She had known about Maya since before Maya was born, and she came forward because she didn't want a child raised inside another lie. When I confronted my wife with all of it, the missing records, the DNA, Pam's messages, she didn't deny any of it. She said she'd been young, she'd been scared, she'd made the best decision she could. She called it survival. I told her survival wasn't the issue. 7 years of silence while living inside the same house as me was. The divorce was filed the following week. Maya went into care while custody was being determined, the exact outcome my wife had been racing to prevent by moving quickly before anyone looked too closely. The last thing she said to me was that she had done all of it because she loved that little girl. I believed her. It still wasn't enough. Some lies don't begin with cruelty. They begin with fear, and they grow until they take up so much space there is nothing honest left to stand on. When I walked out, I wasn't leaving her. I was leaving everything she had quietly built in the dark.